With news of shocks in the FA Cup and the rest of the sport, Rob Bonnet.
The third round of the FA Cup has produced its usual surprise results, with one of the best performances of the day coming from the Vauxhall Conference part-timers, Farnborough Town. They'd been drawn at home against First Division West Ham, but instead took their fans to Upton Park, as much for their excellent away form as for the increased gate receipts. Dean Coney should have given them the lead after a quarter of an hour. The miss began to look expensive midway through the second half as Julian Dix put West Ham ahead. But 8 minutes from the end, a scramble in the West Ham goalmouth produced a shot from Coney and handball from Dix. The match, it seemed, was revolving around two personalities as the referee awarded a penalty, taken and converted by Coney, a former West Ham fan. In 21 years, the Farnborough manager Ted Pearce had taken his club from a park pitch to a First Division ground twice. The replay is a week on Tuesday. Other creditable performances came from Third Division Leyton Orient at Oldham. Orient went ahead in the first half through central defender Keith Day. And it took an equaliser 15 minutes from time from Oldham's Graham Sharp to keep the First Division side in the cup. And First Division Coventry City almost suffered yet another third-round humiliation. They went behind to a goal from Cambridge United's Dion Dublin, and it took a 75th minute penalty from Brian Borrows to force a replay against the Second Division side. There were other surprising scorelines, some of which can be seen on Match of the Day immediately after this news bulletin. You should look away now if you don't want to know the results. There was anticipation of an upset at Third Division Preston, a club with a proud history that includes last winning the competition back in 1938. Today, their opponents were First Division Sheffield Wednesday.
These days, to be able to remember the last time Preston North End won the FA Cup is an automatic qualification for an old age pension. In 1938, the club was one of the greatest in the land, its name revered throughout football. Over half a century on from that Wembley triumph, Preston languish in the Third Division, but a rich tradition is still proudly commemorated, and the club's greatest hero still embodies an enduring spirit.
It's always been a hotbed of soccer here in Lancashire. You know, you think that the founder members of the club, that Preston North End were one of those, Burnley were another one, and Blackburn as well. So there is, you know, a feeling for football.
It all began promisingly for those faithful fans, Preston's neat football repeatedly troubling Wednesday's defence and creating the first half's only chance. But Woods was athletically equal to Joyce's header. The pattern continued in the second half, Cartwright's run setting up Shaw, only for his shot to scrape wide. Such was Wednesday's lack of adventure, they seemed set on a replay, until unexpectedly they scored. Watson's flick-on converted by Sheridan's looping reflex header. 7 minutes later, Wednesday effectively killed the tie when Jemson, returning to his old club, put Bart Williams through to finish with commendable composure. For Preston, there wasn't even to be a consolation. The brilliance of England's goalkeeper saw to that. Wednesday through 2-0.
Draw for the third round of the Scottish Cup, made this evening, has produced one outstanding tie. Rangers, who haven't won the Cup for 11 years, play Aberdeen at Pittodrie. Premier Division leaders Hearts will be away to St Mirren, and the cup holders Motherwell begin their defence of the trophy at Ayr. In today's Scottish League football, Scott Crabb scored again as the leaders Hearts won at Celtic. That means that Hearts have a 2-point lead over Rangers, who were held to a goalless draw by Airdrie. Hibernian beat Dunfermline 5-0, helped by a Keith Wright hat-trick. In Rugby Union's Match of the Day, Bath pulled off a remarkable result against Harlequins by coming back from 18-0 down to force an 18-all draw. However, Harlequins' Simon Halliday was injured and may be unavailable for England's match a week on Saturday against Scotland.
Back in Harlequins' colours and ready to lead England's Five Nations Championship defence, Will Carling was one of 16 present and past England internationals under selectorial scrutiny. And it was Carling who provided the first talking point of a busy afternoon. His first club try of the season helped Harlequins to an 18-point lead before half-time. Later, though, it was all to go wrong for Quins. They lost their England back, Simon Halliday, the victim of an accidental kick in the head, ironically by Will Carling. Halliday's departure and that of the sent-off Troy Coker provided a way back for Bath, which culminated in a last-minute try for de Glanville. That made the score 18-16. The immaculate conversion by England's John Webb gave Bath an unexpected, but in the end, deserved draw.
Finally racing, and Pants Jester has emerged as a leading contender for the Cheltenham Gold Cup after winning the Newton Chase at Haydock. Pants Jester, a novice, comfortably beats several other Gold Cup contenders. Peter O'Sullivan is the commentator.
Jester lands in the lead from Canabatic, was moved in a second mistake there by Sabadoulois, and Pants Jester going away now from Canabatic as they race into the closing stages. It's going to be a double for Gordon Richards and Neil Dardy as they race up towards the line. Pants Jester, this former fine hurdler, is winning this big chase now from Canabatic in second, Golden Freeze in third, racing up to the line now, and Pants Jester has the Newton Chase sewn up, and at the line Pants Jester is the winner, second is Canabatic, and Gold Options runs on to be third.
And that's all from the newsroom. From Rob and me, good night.
Hello, the rain that has taken several days to work its way into southern Britain is now moving northwards, picked up quite nicely by the rainfall radar. Some of the heaviest rain working its way through Wales and southern Ireland, and that'll be gradually working its way northwards over the next 24 hours. It's all tied into this warm weather front that'll be somewhere over central Scotland by lunchtime tomorrow. As the high builds, notice the isobars increase, so some strong and gusty winds coming along as well. Through tonight then, the rain, perhaps some snow on a sleeting ledge over the high ground of Wales and Northern Ireland and the Pennines, but much of Scotland will stay clear tonight and quite cold, with a fairly sharp frost, temperatures down to -3. But in the south, the temperatures picking up into the mild category, anywhere between 10 and 12, with some strong and gusty winds coming up through the Irish Sea. Tomorrow the rain and the snow continues its northward journey, but as it gets into northern Scotland, into the colder air, we could find the snow coming down to lower levels, maybe as low as 500 feet. Some thicker cloud around these western coasts, the odd spot of drizzle, but in central and eastern areas it could turn out to be quite bright, even quite sunny in some places. And the temperatures, well, they could be as high as 10 to 13 degrees Celsius, a very mild day in some parts of the south, though there will be gusty winds in the west, but still on the cold side in northern Scotland. Good night.
Tomorrow, a Bite Back special reports on a year of change for BBC Radio and Television. Julian Pettifer invites the public to question the BBC's Director General, Michael Checkland. See for yourself an independently produced Bite Back special tomorrow at 9:15 on BBC One.
Our late film this evening at midnight is the fast-moving thriller Chase. Jennifer O'Neill stars as a lawyer up against a lynch mob and her ex-lover when she returns to her hometown to defend the killer of an old friend. First on BBC One, our path lies along the road to Wembley as Desmond Lynam introduces Match of the Day.